Nexus is a fleet management RTS from 2004 that still holds up almost 2 decades later. When it comes to presentation, Homeworld set the bar for every fleet management game to follow. Where Homeworld took many of its cues from Dune, the style of Nexus is something in the order of a dystopian golden age Star Trek or Lost in Space. As bright and shiny as the future looks, the intro breezes through a backstory of civil wars, Federation, rise of the corporations, AI social upheavals, all narrated in the protagonist's prim and proper British tones.
Economy collapsed. Entire continents were left without energy and information. A planet-wide ban on artificial intelligences was put in place. At just 10 years old, the legendary Richard
He also tells us about how he had a famous dad and he was born on a famous day, and how he was apparently destined for famous things.
He was my father. On the day I was born, he bought an orbital limited bond.
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
Today, it's worth 13,000 times its original value.
But the first thing he wants when he gets unfrozen is to get paid and have an incident near Jupiter.
I wonder if this mission will be remembered as the Jupiter incident. This mission may yet be known as the Jupiter incident.
The incident turns out to be a probably alien spaceship in the hands of a rival corporation. But now we're getting ahead of ourselves. There's a moment when you first jump into an unfamiliar game and you don't know what to expect, but your first glimpse gives you so much promise. This is my favorite scene in the game. The beautiful, graceful ballet of an impossibly long freighter. I'm no scientist. I don't know how plausible this thing is, but it looks plausible in space. Later on the story gets a little wild. But right now, it's just the Humies, struggling with their comfortingly humdrum corporate warfare.
They're all talking about you back at the station, sir. It's not often we get celebrities out here. Did you have a pleasant flight?
Pleasant? That's not the word I'd use. The most exciting thing to happen in 8 months was the toilet backing up.
I love these designs from the human side. The game soon introduces you to what sets this apart from other fleet management RTS games. Instead of clicking on an empty space you want to move towards, you choose an object or point to move towards or away from. So what happens when you need to move around a certain area of space, for example, to avoid a threat? The first thing is that level designers would include various asteroids or destroyed ships to assist navigation. The second option, which for some reason is not included in the tutorial, is to move manually by holding shift and dragging the left mouse button to suggest depth, or to create your own nav point by pressing N and move towards that, something I didn't realize until the end of the game. In addition to the truly three-dimensional approach, there are various weapons, each effective against hulls, shields, or precision strikes on systems, all operating at different ranges. It's incredibly satisfying to surgically cripple a ship's thrusters or weapons and leave it drifting in the silence of space. What results are these moments where it feels like the battle hinges on you making a series of genuinely impactful tactical decisions that might concern as little as just 3 ships, about where to strike to turn the tide of battle, or what loadout to bring, or what subsystem to hit. The system works well, but it has its issues, since the ships constantly cavort and writhe around each other when attacking to be able to hit the required systems or protect their own. No 2 battles might be the same even after a reload, and sometimes the ships are too good at spinning to avoid damage, and the battles last forever. This is probably why the amount of ships that you actually control is always kept to a minimum, although cracks do start to show at the very end of the game. The ability to pause at any time helps considerably. Readability can also be a huge problem, particularly on huge battles. Difficulty can feel inconsistent at times, though part of the joy of this game is testing out the scripted events to find out if certain things are as inevitable as the script would have you believe. For example, in one mission you can disable certain powerful enemies before they become a threat in the next mission, but destroying them outright can actually crash the game. And back to the story, which drives all of these scripted events. Eventually you get your alien spaceship with Protoss skin, go through a wormhole, reunite with a lost colony, bump into no less than 6 alien races and save all of them. Sort of.
But this cannot be a movie. It is happening too fast, and the good guys are losing.
The world feels a little crowded, which starts to make sense when you find out the game was originally intended to be Imperium Galactica 3, long before this became a tactical fleet game. Even more surprising is that it works so well. It does an excellent job. Really rewards a slow, patient kind of gamer. One who stops to reflect on how a game in 2004 can be so beautiful to look at, and still have a functional UI scaling at 4K. I'm so here for the atmosphere. I'm here for every slow panning shot of spaceships. I'm here for the long distance light shows and jets of thrusters dancing in the void of space.
I could only stare, my eyes frozen to glass.
I'm here for the coming together of physics, lighting, and textures to produce something in the order of poetry.
The air shimmers, white flight of an unknown insect. Sleet-dappled snowscape, warm imprint in bedsheets split by a single pane. Barns burnt down. Now I can see the moon. Both the wings and heart of a bee leaving a rose are heavy burdens.
They twist like quad-coiled vipers feeding on combustion's waste. Black as ink and hot as Hades they join below, eternally in shadow, unless of course I roll. They belch a rumbling and vibrate fear into the bones of my foe.
Maybe you should get some help, man.
Thankfully, the music complements the sumptuous visuals, with a mix of grand orchestral pieces and some stranger, more alien compositions that I treasure is up there with some homeworld classics. When it's on sale, Nexus is frequently a couple bucks, so I strongly encourage you to pick it up and give it a try.
Where the hell's everyone else?
Unfortunately, the developer Mythos was bought and then dissolved by Eidos in 2009. There have been 2 attempts to kickstart a sequel, both of which fell short, and as of the time of this video, THQ Nordic owned the rights.